on Wuzurike, 6th in the Commonwealth Games in 22. Zarnell Hughes, the silver medalist on that day, man who lives and trains in Kingston, Jamaica, but belongs to Shaftesbury Bonnet Harriers, North London club. James Dadsey of Ghana goes in lane 4, good lane draw for him. 20.3 this year. He's a 1979 performer at his best. Chris Taylor goes for Jamaica in 3, 6th in the Olympic Games in Tokyo back in 1991. Curon Griffith of Barbados goes in lane 2. Semi-finalist in the 100 here. Wanye Bell of the British Virgin Islands goes on the inside. World Junior Championship 100 metre performer back in 2022. He was a semi-finalist at the NCAA Championship a few weeks back in Eugene, Oregon, in the USA. On the Nigerian, on Wuzurike, 20.18 this year. Hughes inside him, Zarnell Hughes goes in lane 5. And Hughes is the British record holder with 19.73. That was 3 years ago now. Very consistent, Zarnell Hughes.
Greetings truck lovers and welcome back. I hope you are all doing well today. But here is where things get really interesting. Imagine standing inside that stadium, hearing the crowd explode as the fastest man in the Commonwealth line up for one chance to reach the final. But here is the big question. Did Jamaica just reveal its next move? Or is Christopher Taylor quietly saving something special for the final? With South Africa, Canada, Ghana and Jamaica all bring serious speed. This 200-meter showdown is becoming impossible to predict. So, who has the compassion, the speed and the finish power to take it all? Let's get into it, then I'll come back with more comments. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please remember to subscribe, like and also comment. Thank you.
Nice conditions in the arena. Still, of course, a breeze. Should be behind them down the home straight. Now, let's have a look at those reaction times. Can't actually see that anybody broke the rules there. Set off early. Looking at their reaction times, I think maybe that was a faulty start. The camera focusing on Orotile there on the outside. Have a look at it again. Did you spot anything there, Danny?
It does look like Orotile, doesn't it? Just gets the jump on them and on the gun. Very, very fractionally, but we'll wait to see what the officials come back with.
Well, the readout doesn't indicate that he full started, so I don't think he did. He might have got a great start, but that's might be a shame for him if he did get a superb start. He was the quickest away, although the reaction time only tells half the story. Yeah, thought so. Green card, just a faulty start. Nobody having the finger pointed at them. So for the second time of asking then, they have to settle into their blocks very shortly for this first semi-final of 3 in the men's 200 metres. They ran their heats yesterday morning, many of them competing in the 100s on Tuesday evening. They've had 24 hours indeed, more like 30 hours plus to prepare for this. Bell of the British Virgin Islands goes in 1. Griffith of Barbados in 2, Taylor of Jamaica 3, James Dadsey of Ghana in 4, Zarnell Hughes of England in 5, the silver medalist 4 years ago, and Wuzurike of Nigeria in 6, Murphy in 7, Orotile on the outside in 8. This time they get away. Really good running there in lane 4 from James Dadsey. A little slow to get into his running. Zarnell Hughes there in the red and white of England has got some work to do here. Also really great from Chris Taylor in lane 3 there for Jamaica. Zarnell Hughes to really pour it on here. He's going to get run right out of this one. Remember, it's only the first 2 who are going through by right. And that is it. First 2 plus 2 non-automatic qualifiers from the 3 semis. And that winning time, 20.20. And I do wonder if fresh legs are counting for a lot here in Scotland today. Well, it's been given to Chris Taylor, 20.20 from lane 3. He started wonderfully. He ran 20.36 for second in his heat yesterday. He's just run 20.20. The win plus 3.5 behind them. It's way over the limit. The other qualifier on was Orike of Nigeria. Great run from him, 20.22, really tight at the line. And then Orotile on the outside, the youngster, third with 20.47, and James Dadsey of Ghana, the other man in the non-automatic qualifying positions at the moment with 20.52 in fourth.
Christopher Taylor coming out of lane 3 gets an absolutely blistering start and runs a beautiful bend as he transitions into the home straight. On was Orike out there in lane 6. Just positions himself beautifully as he comes into the home straight. But Zarnell Hughes was found wanting then. He was just going backwards in the home straight. He just didn't seem to get into the race, did he, Tim? From the moment the gun went, he just couldn't get on the tail of on Orike.
No, he got a poor start. Christopher Taylor would have been in his field of vision very quickly because the Jamaican just inside him to his left got away so quickly. Dadsey was quick too. And very Zarnell Hughes, like 6th place there, 20.67. He's run almost a second quicker than that. He's run about 8 metres quicker than that, albeit 3 years ago. Well, there's the fellas in the hot seats. Orotile and Dadsey for Botswana and Ghana, respectively. And a confirmation of Chris Taylor's win there with a strong win behind him, 20.22, just ahead of Orike from Nigeria.
Scott Lincoln stepping up for round 1. And then shot put. He's the bronze medalist last time out in Birmingham. Big move last year, left his base in York to go to Australia in the quest of consistency and more medals. He's just the shot bounced up towards 21 metres here. But where did it land? Just short, but not too far short of 21 metres. The lead is with Tom Walsh, 21 metres and 3 centimetres, which Walsh himself, 2-time champion, will know he's got to improve on if he wants to get his 3rd consecutive gold. Lincoln, 20 metres 70. That's enough for 2nd place at the moment for the Englishman. Takes us to the 2nd Indian in the field for Jindapal Singh Tour. The Indian #1 Asian record holder. Could be looking at our 3rd man over 20 metres here in Tour. I love the way these guys rotate so fast, and particularly when it gets faster with every rotation and Tour, building that momentum from the back of the circle.
Well, we're 200 metre semi down, 2 to come. Tour there 20.06. That's not a bad opener at all. He's got a bit of improvement to do yet if he wants to stay amongst the medals, I fancy.
2nd semi-final of the men's 200. You can see the athletes in the outer 4 lanes. They were all given a bye here. Well, that's not... I think one of the athletes says we've had a late replacement with Jackson Clark, so that graphic not totally right. But Caleb Law of Australia goes here in lane 8. He got a bye thanks to a brilliant 2021 that he ran over at the start of the season. But Jackson Clark of Guyana, he would have thought he missed out on this by 100, but he's replaced Israel Okun, the Nigerian athlete, not starting here. Muthinkulu of South Africa will go in 6th, new lifetime best of 2011 the other day. Prince Selepe of Botswana in 5, silver at the African Championships, and then 20.01 at the Doha Diamond League. It's Javon Powell of Jamaica, regular in their 4x4 squad. Joseph Amoa of Ghana will go in lane 3, 9.92 this year. He looked very good winning his heat yesterday. Nganga Gora from Gabon goes in lane 2, African finalist this year. And the final athlete in lane 1, Animesh Kujor of India, their national record holder with 20.32. He won his heat, the Indian did yesterday, in a season's best. So 5 out of the 8 of the athletes here did run yesterday. Got a feel for the track, and then we've got fresh legs with the likes of Caleb Law, Muthinkulu, and Selepe. They settle into their blocks. Reminder, it's first two across the line automatically. Chris Taylor and Omuzuriki running very well in the previous race, down to 20.2 seconds with a strong following wind. Away first time here in the second semi-final. Lots of talented athletes. The one's fastest on paper on the outside here, but it's the Jamaican Javon Powell that's moving well in the middle of the field. Joseph Amoa going with him. Amoa looked very good winning his heat yesterday. He's going to come under pressure here in the last 50 metres. The Guyanan holding strong just to the line. Been credited with 20.24 and a 2.0 following win. That would equal his season's best. And it just looked a little bit a bit casual in the last 10 metres from Joseph Amoa. It was similar yesterday, wasn't it? And they ran a very good 180 and then decided that was probably going to be enough, but Javon Powell didn't give up till the end with only 2 spots available for the final automatically, and the Jamaican was chasing as well. He had to run every inch of the track he had available to him.
Yeah, the Ghana athlete Joseph Amoa, as you rightly said, Hannah, he ran a magnificent bend and he was just easing down into the end, but just coming through really, really strong was Powell and Selepe. They were driving all the way to the finish. He just shut down a little bit too early for me. That was a little bit too relaxed as they come off the bend. Amoa just comes into the home straight from lane 3, just ahead of the rest of the field. And at this point, he just starts to step off the gas a little bit. And you can see Selepe and Powell just coming through to his right-hand side, our left, as we look at him.
Well, it was a furious dip to the line from Javon Powell, opposed to Joseph Amoa's slightly chilled. I mean, he's working hard. I don't think he shut it down, but he just didn't dip. And that's a big part of sprinting.
He just cruised through, didn't he?
And I'll tell you what, I can see on the computer system here that Joseph Amoa, the Ghanaian here on the right-hand side of the screen, has been given the win, but by 2 1/1000ths. That will give him a great lane draw when we look towards the final. But it was almost a different story. This has been the fastest race so far in terms of the depth. We saw Prince Selepe and Muthan Kula replace the fastest athletes from the previous heat. They are the 2 time qualifiers at the moment on 20:31 and 20:39. Look at that. I love that from Javon Powell. We've got to look out for him when we go to the final. He's a big part of the Jamaican 4x4 squad, and I think that strength over the longest of the sprints showing at the end of the 200.
He'll be happy he just got away with that one.
Confirmed result of semi-final 2. Joseph Amoa by 2 1/1000ths gets the win from Javon Powell. They're the automatic qualifiers. 1 semi-final left to go.
So, Chukwuebuka and Okwechi steps into the circle. Then round 2, the Nigerian silver medalist back in 2018, 4th 4 years ago in this shot put final. That's a nice second heave. He opened with 19 metres 60. He's capable of so much more. He is a 22-metre thrower. Indeed, he's been in great form, around 21.5 metres in his last half dozen or so shot put competitions. So he knows something big is in there. He really is in the competitive groove, so to speak. 5th in the World Championships last year, and that's a nice second heave from Okwechi. 20 metres 48 puts him up into 3rd place. So semi-final 3 then. Emmanuel Aseme, the winner of the 100 metres 2 nights ago in 9.83. He goes in lane 1. And right on the outside, well, the silver medalist in that 100 metres, the Australian Lachlan Kennedy, 9.85. He ran for an Australian record. He was second in the world indoors last year, the Australian champion at 100 this year. He will start fast. Can he hold them off? In lane 7 there inside him, Dumbile of South Africa, 8th in the World Championships last year. Aaron Brown goes in 6th for Canada, semi-finalist last year, Canadian champion. There's Mustafa Bopin from Ghana, 4th in the NCAA's 200. That's not to be sniffed at. Rashawn Clark of Jamaica goes in lane 4. 3rd in the Jamaican Championships. Jaleel Kroll of British Virgin Islands won his heat yesterday in 20.53. Very close to his season's best. Zablon Kwam. He was second in the 200 heat yesterday in 20.73. That was yesterday morning, when I think he was entitled to feel a little bit tired and maybe a little bit stiff and sore after the 100 late the previous evening. It was far from ideal having to race before midday yesterday, having won the 100. He was 5th at the World Indoors back in Torun in March. So the gold and silver medalists in the 100 2 nights ago, bookending this field, Semi of Cameroon, the champion in 1. Kennedy, the silver medalist in the 100, goes on the outside in lane 8. Really tight bend for Semi to try and negotiate their topper picture in the red in lane 1. He's gone off pretty well though, has Lachlan Kennedy on the outside, also going really well. Inside him is the South African Dumbile. Dumbile possibly leading into the straight now, but it's going to be really tight. Watch Semi on the inside there, but look at the way they're pulling away now. Dumbile and the Canadian inside him. Brown taking 1 and 2 there. 19.82 and the win just over the legal limit. 2.3. Dumbile. What a shame. What a shame that it was just over that legal limit. Dear oh dear. It was very, very quick indeed. That second semi-final, 20.24. In the second semi-final, we'll have to look at the non-automatic qualifier positions. Dumbile 1982, Brown 1990, Kennedy and Aseme. Well, Aseme doesn't go through. He misses out by 1/100th of a second. Kennedy, 2012, will go through, the quickest of the non-automatic qualifiers, along with Prince Selepe of Botswana, who was 3rd in the second semi-final. 2031 he ran. So Aseme unable to go for the double.
Dembele was up on Lachlan Kennedy as they come out of the stagger. But just look on the inside, the Canadian, Aaron Brown, the 34-year-old, just powering through and following Dembele all the way through. Unfortunately, we lost Roshan Clark as well during that race. He pulled up. But Dembele looked superior there, didn't he? He looked so relaxed as he comes into the home straight.
Yeah, the South Africans in really good form, and when you think they are Southern Hemisphere athletes like so many of the others, the Aussies and the Kiwis, they've had their own Southern Hemisphere season back in what is obviously the Northern Hemisphere winter, but they are peaking brilliantly, so many of the South Africans and the Australians for these championships. There it is, 19.82 and 9.90, just over the legal limit, the wind at plus 2.3. Lachlan Kennedy goes through with that 20.12. He recovering a little bit better perhaps than Aseme, although he was in lane 8, which is a big advantage with those gentle sweeping bends. Aseme quite the opposite in lane 1 in that 3rd semi-final.
Real shot there, seeing Emmanuel Aseme exit. It was so brilliant in that.
Come back. Oh now. Oh wow. What a fantastic day. I honestly wish I could have been there inside that stadium to feel the atmosphere for myself. The crowd, the noise, the pressure, and those athletes standing on the track knowing that one race could change everything. This is exactly why we love athletics. And let me ask you something. How can such a small country like Jamaica continue producing athletes who walk onto the biggest stage and perform like they belong there? Jamaica may be small on the map, but when it comes to sprinting, this country continues to do big things and great things. Now let's talk about the men's or 200 meters semi-final at the 2026 Commonwealth Games, because this was not just another race, this was serious business, yeah. Sorry. Every athlete knew that one mistake could mean the difference between celebrating in the final and watching the final from the stands. And when you reach this stage of a championship, there is nowhere to hide. The pressure is real. In the first semi-final, Christopher Taylor of Jamaica stepped onto the track with one job: get the qualification and put himself in a strong position for the final. And what did he do? He delivered a composed performance, crossing the line in 20.20 seconds. Now, 20.206 may not sound like a crazy number when you look at the history of sprinting, but at the major championship, the question isn't always who ran the fastest. Sometimes the question is who did exactly what they need to do. Taylor looked controlled, and that composure could become extremely important when the final arrives. But here is the interesting part. Was Christopher Taylor showing everything he has? Or was he simply saving something for later? Because you don't want to win a semi-final by giving away everything in the trunk. The final is where the medals are decided. As the saying goes, you don't bring your whole toolbox to fix a small problem. Then came another semi-final, and wow, this is where things became extremely interesting for Jamaica. Joseph Amoa of Ghana narrowly edged out Jamaica. Javon Paul in what was essentially a photo finish. Just imagine the pressure. You train for months, travel thousands of kilometers, walk into a packed stadium, and then your entire race comes down to a fraction of seconds. And that is what makes the 200 meters so cruel. You can run an incredible race and still find yourself asking, was I just one step too slow? There is no room for relaxation at the finish line. The difference between qualifying and going home can be almost invisible to the human eye. But let's be honest, Ghana deserves credit here. Joseph Amoa showed that his competition isn't just about Jamaica, South Africa, Canada, or the traditional sprinting powers. Africa athletes are continue to make their presence felt, and that makes the Commonwealth game even more exciting. Then we reached the third semi-final, and suddenly everyone watched hard to sit up. Daniel from South Africa produced a stunning 19.82 seconds, while Canada's Aaron Boyd Brown followed closely in 19.90. Now, here we are talking. Two athletes under 20 seconds in the same semi-final. That is not just fast, that is a warning to everybody waiting for the final. And think about what that means if you are Christopher Taylor sitting somewhere watching that race. What are you thinking? Are you saying, okay, I have seen what they are bringing? Or are you saying, good, now let me show them what Jamaica has? Because this is where the 200 meters become a chess game. It isn't simply about running as fast as possible. From the first step, the bend matters, your positioning matters, your relaxation matters, your transition into the straight matters. And once you hit that final 100 meters, your body is extremely, but your mind has to keep saying stay relaxed. That is something we have seen throughout sprinting history. Think about Usain Bolt. One of the most memorable things about watching Bolt was not just his speed, it was the way he could look relaxed while everyone else looked like they were fighting for their lives. That ability to remain composed under enormous pressure is one of the great secrets of sprinting. And now, a new generation is carrying that pressure. So, what happens in the final? That is the question everybody should be asking. Can Christopher Taylor step up from 20.20 and challenge for the gold? Can Ghana's Joseph Amoa surprise everybody? Can South Africa's Daniels continue that incredible from after running 19.82? Or and what about Aaron Brown, who has already shown that he can run under 20 seconds? Suddenly, this final doesn't look like a simple race. It looks like a sprinting chess match, and here is where things get serious. When you have multiple athletes capable of running around or under 20 seconds, the smallest mistake can become enormous. A poor start, a little tension on the bend, losing rhythm, breaking from too early, any of those things can cost you a medal. But also, what makes champions athletics so beautiful? The fastest athletes on paper doesn't always win. Sometimes it's the athletes who handle the moment better. You can have the fastest personal best. You can have the biggest reputation. You can have thousands of people cheering your name, but when that gun goes off, nobody cares about your reputation. The track only rewards what you do in those few seconds, and Jamaica knows that better than most. For decades, Jamaica has produced sprinters who have turned pressure into performance, from Usain Bolt to Johan Blake, from Shelley Ann Fraser-Pryce to Elaine Thompson-Hera. The island has repeatedly shown that sprinting isn't just about having talent individuals. There is a culture around the sport. I believe that this next champion could be training somewhere right now. That is why this Commonwealth Game 200 meters final is so fascinating. We are not simply watching athletes run around a track. We are watching different sprinting culture collide. Jamaica has its tradition. Ghana has its ambition. South Africa has its rising power. Canada has its experience. And every athlete now has the same dream: stand on that podium with a medal around their neck. So, let me ask you one final question. When that final begins, who do you think will handle the pressure best? Will Christopher Taylor rise to the occasion and show why Jamaica continue to produce elite sprinters? Will South Africa Daniel turn that 19.82 into something even faster? Will Aaron Brown bring his experience when it matters most? Or could Ghana's Joseph Amoa produce the surprise that nobody saw coming? Oh, this is going to be one serious sprint, because in the 200 meters you don't get extra point for looking comfortable. You don't get a second chance because the pressure was too much. You get one opportunity, one track, one finish line.